Good morning. This is Mrs. Hanford. I sure miss you guys. I'll be uploading pictures onto the Google Classroom to help you with math and reading and maybe some other fun stuff too. But I thought today to try it out, I'm going to read our read aloud. So it's The War with Grandpa, and I'm just going to read a couple chapters and then I'll upload it. And when you go to look for it, if you miss a chapter, I'll try to post a chapter every day. If you miss a chapter, it will, if you go to the classwork tab, there'll be a topic and I'll name it War with Grandpa. So then, and I'll title each of the chapters. So if you get behind, you could go and, go back and listen to the read aloud. I hope you are staying healthy and enjoying your time with your family, and I sure miss you guys. So this is where we left off last time. I'm going to start back a paragraph or two to get you right back into the swing of things. So Grandpa chuckled. Nope, just the moon, and on a full moon you get your highest tide of the month. It's called gravitational pull, Pete, and it's true. You could look it up sometime. People keep charts of tides and they can tell you when each tide will come for years and years ahead. The tide is very important. Must be, I said. It pulled me right out of bed at 4:30 in the morning, didn't it? We stopped at the diner a little while later and had breakfast. It was only about 5 o'clock in the morning, the earliest I had had breakfast in my life. Grandpa had the waitress fill his thermos with coffee and we hit the road again. Grandpa was humming along with the song on the radio. He seemed very happy. Ahead of us, the sky was beginning to lighten as dawn came up. Ain't it great? Grandpa grinned at me. Just us two gents out on the road, footloose and fancy-free. Don't you love it? It did feel good being out and alone with Grandpa. We got to Cold Spring Harbor just as the sun was peeping all red and gold at the edge of the sky. Grandpa drove down to the water and parked near Bill's boat and bait shop. I have to tell something true and right here. Inside that place, it smelled so awful. There ought to be a law against it. It smelled like rotten fish had been left out there for about a year. That smell could gross out my whole class, maybe the whole school. We got 2 little pails of bait and walked down the dock on the other side to where the rowboats were tied up. Grandpa helped me into my life vest and put one on himself. Then we put all our stuff into the boat. It had a wide, flat bottom, and Grandpa tucked our fishing rods and tackle under the front seat. Then helped me get in. Safety first, he told me. No standing up. Sit in one place on the seat and tell me beforehand if you want to move around. Aye, aye, sir, I said, and it made him kind of grin. Grandpa untied us from the dock, put the oars into place, and rowed us out into the harbor. It was neat traveling across the smooth water in a small boat. The sunlight danced on the water and a cool breeze was in my face. I love it, I said to Grandpa, and he smiled. There's a whole lot more to tell you about that day, but this chapter is much too long already. I could tell about Grandpa teaching me to bait a hook with a worm or the piece of dead clam, about how you drop your hook until you fill the bottom and then take up just enough slack in your line, or the fantastic feeling when a flounder takes the bait and starts to wiggle and jump around, and how you have to pull him in so careful and slow in getting him up into the boat. Almost everything about that day was wonderful. We caught a whole lot of fish, more than 20. I got so hungry, I ate my first sandwich before 9 o'clock. I learned how to row a boat. It was hard to do, but I rowed us partway back to the dock. I learned how to clean a fish and get the scales off. It was an adventure, exciting, thrilling, and just a little bit of danger behind it, and I loved every minute of it. We're going to do this again, I told Grandpa on the way home. You bet we are, he said. And we have gone fishing together a lot, many times since that first day. Once we even took Jenny along, and she liked it too. But nothing will ever make me forget that first time alone with Grandpa. So you can see why I felt a little sad later that night when I sneaked into my grandpa's room and stole his wristwatch. Chapter 28, Playing Hardball. It did not take Grandpa too long to discover that his watch was missing, and I guess he didn't have to walk around trying to figure out where it had gone. He came upstairs the next morning. It was a Sunday, and I was waiting around for Mom and Dad to wake me up so I could go downstairs for breakfast. I heard Grandpa come in and grabbed a book so I could pretend to be reading. Grandpa knocked on my door ever so slightly. He pushed it open a crack to look in. "Awake, I see," he said. He came in and sat down in my rocker. He was wearing his pajamas, robe, and slippers. "A funny thing happened this morning," he said. "I went to slip my watch on, and guess what? It seemed to be missing from my dresser." "Is that so?" I said in a casual way. "That's a fact." "Well," I said, "maybe there's a thief who came into the house last night and stole it." "Don't think so," Grandpa said, seeing as how my wallet was on the dresser too, right next to my watch, and it wasn't even touched. I had quite a few dollars in it too. "Maybe it was a dumb thief," I said, "or a thief who needed only a watch." Grandpa looked at me and grinned. I didn't blame him. What I said sounded stupid to me too. How come you didn't leave a note?" Grandpa said. "I think we're past all that," I said. "Maybe so. I took your watch," I said. "We both know that." Grandpa kind of shook his head a little. "I was kind of thinking maybe our little war was over," he said, "especially after yesterday. I had a good time fishing with you, Pete. You're very good company." "Well," I said, "it wasn't your average kind of day for me either. I had one of the best days of my life with you, but," I said, and sort of shrugged, "it doesn't change things, Grandpa." "So I see. There's something I want that you have, and I don't know what else to do except for fight for what's mine," I said. "Too bad," Grandpa said. "But look, Petey, I have a special reason for wanting that watch back. It was a gift from Grandma, you see, on our 40th wedding anniversary. I treasure it, son." Well, now I felt like the most miserable, low-down person in the whole wide world. But I wasn't about to give up. It was a safe place. "It's in a safe place, Grandpa," I said, "and I'll take really good care of it." I didn't have to take care of it at all because it was wrapped up nice and snug in a pair of my white socks and hidden away in a tennis ball can in the bottom of my camp truck. "I could probably find it if I look," Grandpa said. "I don't think so," I said. "I'm pretty good at looking," Grandpa said. "When you're in school, Pete, I've got all day to turn this place over. You could look for a million years and never find it," I said. Grandpa sighed and rocked a few times in the chair. "I'd rather you handed it back by yourself," he said. "No way," I said. "Not until you give me my room back." "I've heard that before," he said. "How about if I say please?" "Look, Grandpa," I said, "all you have to do is tell Mom and Dad that you want to switch rooms with me. That's easy, isn't it?" Grandpa took a long look in my eyes, rocking so gently in my chair. You're really like a broken record, you know that," he said. "I only want what's really mine," I said. "So," Grandpa said, "now we're playing hardball, eh?" "I'm not playing," I said. "No room, no watch." "Fair enough," Grandpa said. He got up and slowly walked to the door. But for now on, he said, "You better watch out." Oh, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and tomorrow I'll read to you the next chapter. Goodbye.